Okay, here we go. Number 7. Hyperbolas, again, know that because of the minus, and these two variables are squared. So we got to find the foci. I think it'd be a good idea to draw the drawing. So there's my a squared, so I know a is 6. There's my b squared, so if b squared equals 64, then b is 8. I just take the square root of that. And now I'm going to draw my little box. I also know that the center is 0, 0. With that in mind, I go 6 in the right and left position, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8 in the y position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's that dot, there's that dot. Now, got to make our box. Draw our diagonals in. And we got to know that because it starts with the x squared, that's going to look like this. So that means we know our foci are in here somewhere. So how do we find that? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 36 plus 64 equals c squared. They gave us a nice neat one. So we take the square root and we get c is 10. That means I got to go this way 10 and I got to go that way 10. So my foci are going to be plus or minus 10, comma, 0. All right, number 8. Find the vertices. See, these are different. On this previous problem, that would be the vertice, that would be the vertice. So we kind of have to get this drawing drawn. So it's the same equation. Didn't even notice that. So it is these 2 points right here. So that would be negative 6, 0 and positive 6, 0. So it's going to be plus or minus 6, 0. All right, that saved us some time. Good. All right, so now we're going to start sketching some graphs. This will take less time, I hope. But I look at this and I ask myself, is this an ellipse? No. Is this a hyperbola? No. How do I know that? Because the y is not squared. So that means this is a parabola. Now, if you didn't figure that out, they're giving you some clues here, directrix that only goes along with parabolas. So with that in mind, well, I guess this is for 9 through 11, so you wouldn't know that. But we should be able to look at this and say it's a parabola. That's my point. Also, we want to put it into our sort of comfort zone language. So it's going to be that or that. So with that being said, we're going to move stuff around. We're going to multiply this by negative 1/12 and then flip it. Notice the non-squared variable is isolated. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to go y plus 4 equals negative 1/12 x plus 1 squared. Also, notice the a is connected to the squared stuff. That's the key. Now, this is algebra 2 form, just to be more connected to what we've been doing in pre-calc. We're going to bring that over and make it minus 4. I hope you guys see that these are the same. But this is what we've been doing, okay? So that tells us the center is left 1, and this is down 4. So we're going to go left 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I say center, I mean vertex. And because it's a y equals ax squared kind, one of these, and a is negative, I know it's going to be a sad face. Now when it's a fraction, that makes it a little bit wider. If it was a whole number, it would be narrow like this. But generically speaking, it just gets a little wide if that's a fraction. We talked about that in class a bit, but not too much. So the problem's asking to label all the appropriate components. So we know we have a directrix, we know we have a foci, so we know we have to know what c is. So a equals 1 over 4c. Once again, notice I ignored the negative. That's because we're trying to find a distance, c. And the distance will never be negative. So 4 times what is 12? 3. That means I got to move up 3 from here. 1, 2, 3. There's my soil. So that is, a lot of students say this, negative 1. That will be wrong every time. It crosses the y-axis right here, so it's going to be y equals negative 1. Now, if this distance right here is 3, then I also have to go 1, 2, 3 to find the focus or the pistol. And that is -1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, they have all these things right here. I should open my eyes up a bit more, huh? So the answer for the vertex would be -1, -4. The focus, -1, -7. Directrix, y equals -1. Put a check mark. Done. Okay, so this one, if we look at number 10, we ask ourselves, what is it? Well, x is squared, y is squared, and there's a plus. That means it's going to be an ellipse like this or like this. How do we know which one? Well, because this is bigger than this and it's underneath my x, it's going to be this because the x-axis is longer. Now we're going to get more specific. We got to find the center first, which is 2 to the right, 1 up. So 2 to the right, 1 up. There's my center. Now, I like to do this. I literally like to move my x-axis and my y-axis. It just helps my brain process information. And so now I know my center's 2, 1. That's going to help me figure out where my vertices are because I'm going to say, okay, well, a squared equals 64. Take the square root, and that means a is 8. Now be careful. We're moving from here, the new center, which is 2, 1. We got to move 8 to the right, which would put us right here, which is 10, 1. And then we got to move 8 to the left, which take us to -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'd be -6, 1. So there's my vertices, -6, 1, and 10, 1. The foci, remember, my foci always are on my major axis, which is the long one. So with that being said, we're going to take the square root of this, which is b squared, and we're going to go b is 6. So we got to go 6 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It got a little faded there. So here's the way it would look-ish. And we know that this is my major axis, which is huge. That's going to help us figure out where the foci are. But we need to know what the letter C is. And it's a squared minus b squared equals c squared for an ellipse. So that'd be 64 minus 36. So that would be 28 equals c squared. Take the square root. And because they're not breaking these down, I'm not going to break it down, but we need to move from here, left the square root of 28, and right the square root of 28. How do we show that? That's going to be 2 plus or minus the square root of 28, comma 1. And where's the center? We said that was 2, 1. Last one. Okay, so x is squared, y is squared, minus. That means it's a hyperbola. And because it starts with the x squared, that means our Pac-Men are going to eat the x-axis. Also, because there's no parentheses, we know that our center is just going to be 0, 0. So we're going to finish with a relatively easy one. Now, if I take the square root of that, that's going to be 4. The distance I travel along the x-axis to make my box. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take the square root of that, which is 2. And that's underneath my y stuff, so I'm going up 2, down 2, make my box. Drawing my asymptotes. And it's asking me to graph it. So I know that, oh wow, this is a tough one. Okay, I didn't see that coming. But, so I know because it's x squared that these are my vertices, so it's going to look like this and this. So that tells me where the foci are because the foci is going to be out here or out here. So I'm going to use the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 16 plus 4 equals c squared. So 20 equals c squared. Bada boom, bada bing. And because my center is 0, 0, but I know that I need to go that way and that way, the square root of 20, it's going to be plus or minus the square root of 20, comma 0. Now the asymptotes, that's going to be interesting. That's asking for the equation of a line. Now I know a few of you over the years have picked up on different tricks, but remember the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, and technically b is your y-intercept. Both of these asymptotes cross the y-axis right at 0, so I don't even need this. What I really need to find is the slope. So if I calculate it just by this box, I'm going to pick this point to this point. It's up to right 3. So that this one, let me go ahead and get coordinated here. This pink one would have the equation y equals 2/3 x, which if I go ahead and color this one nice and pretty yellow, obviously it's going to have kind of the opposite. But if I started here, I'd go down to right 3, so that's a negative slope. So that'd be y equals negative 2/3 x. And there's one equation of one asymptote. Here's the other one of the pink one. And that's it, you guys.